It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. You're listening to us in your neighborhood, from coast to coast, and around the world. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joan Herman, author, speaker, and your host. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. According to today's guest, Iyanla Vanzant, learning to trust is one of life's most difficult lessons because trust is not a verb, it's a noun, and it's a state of mind and being. Iyanla is here today to discuss how we can learn to trust ourselves and others, and why some of life's trust violations offer us the opportunity for personal growth and healing. Iyanla is a writer and public speaker who is among the most influential spiritual life coaches of our time. She's host and producer of Iyanla Fix My Life on OWN, and she's the author of the new book, Trust, Mastering the 4 Essential Trusts. Welcome, Iyanla. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Iyanla, I'm so happy that you're here today to talk about trust because it's such a complicated issue. When someone's hurt, the first thing that person says is, I'm never going to trust anyone again. I'm never going to let someone hurt me like that again. I don't ever want to feel that pain. So why is it so important for us to trust again? Why not just follow our instincts and protect our heart?
Well, trust is not a one-time event. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being that you hold on to. The reason that we lose trust is because things don't turn out the way we want them to. We think we have all of the answers and that life and everything in life should go the way we think it should go, when in fact, everything that comes into our lives so that we can grow in trust and that we can grow in faith and that we can grow in love and forgiveness. And unfortunately, what happens is those experiences that we have, we use them as excuses not to trust when that is the very thing that we need to do. It's an essential thing. You know, we do trust. It's just that we put our trust in the things that we think will bring us pain. You wake up in the morning, you put your feet on the floor, you trust the law of gravity. You get in the shower, you trust that the water will come out. You get in your car, you trust that you'll get where you're going safely. All of those are issues of trust. But when we think about it, oh, should I trust that person? Or should I trust myself? Should I trust this decision? That's when we have a problem.
You say that in order to move past our pain and trust again, we need something called TNT, tenacity, nerve, and time. When we're in so much pain or we're so broken, how can these elements, tenacity, nerve, and time, help us to heal and move forward?
Well, time heals all wounds. So that's just a natural flow of life. I mean, if you cut your finger, it hurts today, but 3 weeks from now, you won't even remember how you cut it. So time is an essential element of trust. When we're going through a dark place or when we have a difficult experience, tenacity, you've got to know that if it didn't break you then, it's not going to break you. So you've got to be able to trust yourself to get through whatever confronts you, whatever that you're going through in the moment. And then nerve. You know, we lose our nerve, you know. We fashion ourselves to be such tough people, but, you know, when difficulty comes, we become punks. And we punk out. It's a tenacity to know that you're going to make it through. If you made it through that, what did you use? What did you learn? What do you have in your arsenal that you can pull out to use now? Have the nerve, you know, the unmitigated gall to say, this is not going to break me, this is not going to tear me down. And then As time passes, you will learn that everything comes to make you stronger, wiser, better, and not to break you.
How much of what you're saying, this self-trust, how much of this is linked to self-love and self-esteem? If you're depleted in that area, are you able then to trust yourself?
Well, not if you don't have self-esteem. And we have to define esteem. Esteem is how I hold myself or see myself or consider myself within myself. Self-esteem has nothing to do with anybody else. So if you have a healthy sense of self-esteem, if you hold yourself as strong, if you hold yourself as loving and caring and forgivable and forgiving within yourself, how you hold and see and consider yourself within yourself, then you will learn to trust yourself. But if you're beating yourself up, if you've got a barrage of negative self-talk, if you have a mirror of negative self-images, it's going to be hard to trust you. And then you know your behaviors. You know what you do and don't do. You know when you keep your word. You know when you've been kind to yourself and to others. You know the things that you say to yourself within your own mind. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be difficult for you to trust yourself if you don't have a healthy sense of esteem, if you don't have a good self-image, and if you don't value who you are moment by moment by moment.
Iyanla, so much of what happens to us, I know that I've become a student of believing that things are for a greater good and that God has a purpose in my life. But for people that are going through a really difficult time and are having a tough time trusting in life and the process, what do you say to that person to help understand that things do happen for a greater good and that everything will be okay?
There's nothing I can say to people who don't already know that and believe that. Absolutely nothing. I can't convince somebody that if you're breathing, that it's a good thing. No matter what you're going through, you're still breathing. I can't say to somebody who's standing up, look, you got 2 legs. Be grateful. There's nothing I can say to them. I can't say to somebody who doesn't have legs but has a motorized wheelchair, look, you could not have a wheelchair. When somebody doesn't believe, when somebody doesn't trust, there's almost nothing you can say to them that's going to make it any better. Trust is a state of mind and a state of being that grows through our willingness to move through our experiences of life. And if we think we're on our own, which is why we look at the 4 essentials, trust yourself, trust God, trust others, and trust the process. And if we take every single experience that we have in life as a reason not to trust, we'll never develop the state of mind or the state of being required to trust. And there's nothing I can say.
Iyanla, so much of your work is about forgiveness. Is forgiving yourself and others a necessity in order to trust?
Absolutely. Because if you keep holding yourself as guilty, you will look for punishment. Guilt always requires punishment, whether you're punishing yourself or you're thinking that someone else needs to be punished. So forgiveness is one of the essential tools that supports you in developing a trusting mind and a trusting heart.
And people tend to think that when you tell them to forgive another, they tend to think that it's almost condoning someone else's behavior. But that's not what forgiveness is it?
Absolutely not. And if people don't understand forgiveness today, when that is the buzzword in the world, forgive, 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 when we look at all the horrible events that are going on in our lives and in the world, but what it does is it opens your heart and it opens your mind to a new perspective. You're giving up for change. You're giving over for a new way of thinking and a new way of being. So forgiveness in today's world is absolutely essential.
You're one of the most influential spiritual life coaches of our time. And you went from being a welfare mother to where you are now. How did this happen? Where did you acquire this wisdom? And is this anything you could have ever imagined your life to be?
Well, I imagined I was going to be a criminal defense attorney. Mm-hmm. But as you learn and you grow and your life unfolds, I think that it moves to our second element of trust, which is trust God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to be hard to trust yourself if you don't have a relationship with something greater than you. You know, whether you call it God or the Christ or higher self, spirit, higher mind, doesn't matter what you call it. But you have to have an intimate relationship with and a connection to something greater than yourself. If not, then you're left to your own human devices. And I think that was the turning point for me, when I realized that I was not in control and that there was something greater and grander than me that had gotten me out of some of the mess I had put myself into. You know, when I looked at some of my choices and realized, oh my God, you know, this really could not have turned out well for me. And if I'm still breathing and I'm still walking, or I've got my motorized wheelchair, I can still see, I can still hear, there's got to be something other than me, outside of me, or within me that is responsible for that. So our second important element of trust is trust God. You've got to trust God. But if you don't know the nature of source, of God, of you know, a higher mind, if you don't understand the nature of that, it's going to be hard to trust it. So a critical element of learning to trust is learning the nature of something or someone greater than you. And I encourage people to look within, because, you know, it's about cause and effect. And the effect always manifests the nature of the cause. We are the effect of the source. We're not the cause. We're the effect. So when we understand the nature of the cause, we can apply that same nature to ourselves.
The book is Trust, Mastering the 4 Essential Trusts. If you would like to learn more about Iyanla and her work, you can visit her website, Iyanla.com. That's Iyanla, Iyanla.com. Iyanla, in our final moments, what would you like to leave our listeners with?
Well, you know, what I hope people understand, last year we did a book on forgiveness, and the comments that I got back were, you know, I can't forgive because of this and that. And that's when I said, okay, people are not forgiving because they're not trusting.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 essentials. Learn to trust yourself. Understand your nature as the effect of God in the human body. But then you must learn to trust in God. Trust in God, something greater than you that is already within you. And then trusting others, meaning, you know, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. The reason usually is to help us grow, to help us learn more about life and who we are and what is and isn't possible. Learn to trust others, because everyone comes into your life from a place of love, no matter how badly they behave. They love you enough to take time out of their life to help you make your life better. And then trust the process. You know, people will pass in and out of your life. Some will behave very well, some won't. You will lose things and people and perspective. But the process is designed to grow you into your greatest potential. So I think as we master those 4 elements, trusting self, trusting God, trusting the process, and trusting others, you know, you end up in places that you never thought possible, both within yourself and in the world.
Iyanla, thank you so much for being here today, and for sharing your wisdom, and for teaching us the importance of opening up and trusting ourselves, God, others, and life. It has been a real honor having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and you have a blessed and wonderful holiday.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.